Greetings and salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and I am mainly a romance reader, but today I want to talk about some books that I love that aren't romance books. Hello, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back. So, I thought we would switch it up, do something a little bit different today. We're actually going to be talking about some of my favorite books that are not romance. A lot of these books I read a while ago before I really was a romance reader and started getting back into reading, but they're still favorites nonetheless. Just real quick, a little bit about me and my reading taste. I am predominantly a romance reader. I read a lot of historical romances. I read a lot of novellas. I love very wild, crazy romances that have like poly romances and reverse harem romances. How many times can I say romances? I also read cozy mysteries. I do have a cozy mystery book club. We'll see cozy mysteries thrown in my channel. Like me and you only read romance books and you're kind of looking for something a little bit different but you're not sure what to pick up, here are some books. Okay, since we mentioned cozy mysteries, I have to mention at least a couple in this video because I don't consider cozy mysteries romances. They might have a romance subplot, but the main core is the mystery. Familiar with cozy mystery, like the way I love to describe them is if the mystery genre and Hallmark like had a baby, that would be cozy mysteries. I'm going to mention two real quick that are my absolute favorites. The first one is the Bake Shop Mystery Series by Ellie Alexander. Oh my goodness, I am obsessed with this series. I'm obsessed with Ellie Alexander's writing. The first book in that series is Meet Your Baker. This book follows Jules, who is a professional pastry chef, and she works on a cruise ship with her husband, and they're having a rough time. There's some secrets that her husband has been keeping from her that she's not happy about, so she decides to leave the cruise ship and go back to her hometown to help her mom with their family bake shop. This is quintessential cozy. It takes place in Oregon, where this little town is known for their Shakespeare festival, and this entire town is Shakespeare themed. So Jules comes back to work for the bakery and there's a murder. Just to figure out who did it. Baking cozies or literature references, then you will absolutely love this entire series. Cozy mysteries tend to be quite long and they follow the same amateur sleuth through various scenarios, so there's like 13 plus books in this series. Definitely one of those authors that you could totally binge all of their books, and I love it. I will always recommend it. Another cozy that I feel like I don't talk about enough is If Walls Could Talk by Juliet Blackwell. It's pretty interesting. Our heroine renovates old classic houses, like Victorian houses. She ends up getting a job where she's supposed to renovate this old Victorian house, and someone died in that house, and she realizes that she's able to kind of see ghosts. Ghosts are talking to her, basically asking her for help to figure out who murdered them. She's renovating this house, but she's also solving the murder with the help of the person who actually died, the ghost who doesn't remember anything. And it's just a really interesting series overall. Has a little bit of a paranormal aspect. If you like home renovation, you'll like this series, so this one is a solid recommendation. But if you want more cozy mystery recommendations, I will leave my playlist down below. But let's talk about some other books. So one that I absolutely love is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. Oh my gosh, I love this author so much. If you are reading her books, read the audiobooks because she narrates her own audiobooks and they're just fantastic. Like, she is such a great narrator. It's a YA book, and it follows two young girls whose father passed away, and they actually didn't know that they were sisters. Their father had a daughter in New York and then a daughter in the Dominican Republic, and they're very near the same age, and they didn't know about each other, and their father ends up dying in a plane crash in New York that was actually a real event. Our heroine ends up flying to the Dominican Republic to go to the father's funeral, but also to get to know the sister that she never even knew she had. And it is following a story of family and finding yourself and culture, and I just really I loved it. It was such a beautiful audiobook. These two girls who come from completely different worlds, but they have something so important in common, and yeah, I loved it. It's so good. I loved With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. I just love her books. I love the way she narrates them. I love the way she writes them. They're just beautiful. Next is The Deep by River Solomon, and this is another one that I have to say you need to listen to the audiobook. This is narrated by Daveed Diggs, and it's amazing. Like, the best audiobook. I feel like the plot of this is so unique. It does have a small romance subplot, but I still want to consider this mainly a romance. The book starts off with African-American slaves being transferred on a boat. It starts off with a lot of hurt and tragedy because there was a lot of pregnant women who were thrown off of these slave ships and into the water. And in real life, those women tragically died, but in this book, these women transformed into almost mermaids. This whole population of people living in the water and creating a safe haven for themselves and a village for themselves. And they don't remember where they came from. They don't remember how they got there and the tragedy that started their entire community. For one person, and that is our main character, and it is their job to hold all of the secrets and the truths. The idea is that they don't want people to know the truth and carry that heavy burden, so that burden is for them to carry. Our main character ends up meeting a human and kind of connecting with them in a way as well, and it's just such an interesting dynamic. The book is hauntingly beautiful. Like, I was absolutely crying. I've never read a book like this before. It is so freaking beautiful, and I feel like I'm not doing it justice by explaining the synopsis to you because it is so incredibly unique and dynamic. But yeah, such a good book. Let's talk about a thriller that I like. Okay, a thriller suspense book. These books aren't very scary, but they do have that little thriller aspect, and both of them are by John Mars. I know I've talked about these books before because I really do love them, and again, I listen to the audiobooks for them because they are fully narrated audiobooks. Each character has their own voice. They take place in the same universe, but you can read them separately or together. The first one is The Passengers by John Mars, and it's set in a universe that's kind of just slightly more advanced than our own, where self-driving cars are the norm. And when I mean self-driving, it's like everyone has self-driving cars. There's not even a steering wheel. Everything is automated, and that system gets hacked. So 6 of our characters who get in the car, and they're all supposed to be heading in different directions, but their car is hacked and they are told that they're going to die. Cars are all going to collide in a couple of hours and they're all going to die, but they can save one person. They get to vote who they're going to save, and the world gets to vote who they're going to save because this is being broadcasted live. Secrets come out. There's a little bit of a corrupt government situation. Each chapter ends in a cliffhanger. The character was so different and did morally wrong things, and you're just left thinking about society as a whole too. This one is The One by John Mars, and this is set in a world where soulmates really exist. Someone created an app where they take like a drop of your blood and they match you to your like biological soulmate, like the person that your DNAs were meant to be together. They're taking this test that are married thinking they're gonna get matched together, and they don't get matched together. Who has always considered himself as straight ends up getting matched with another guy, and then the more suspenseful aspect is a serial killer ends up getting matched with a cop without them knowing. Such an interesting setup, and again, every character has so many secrets, so many plot twists, so many cliffhangers. I love it. Again, listen to the audiobooks because the audiobooks are the best. The last one that I want to talk about is the Werewood Children series by Shannon McGuire. The first book is Every Heart a Doorway. The entire universe is set where magical doors exist. Hundreds and hundreds of doors and worlds that you can be transported to. It follows our main character. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on her name. I think her name is Nancy. Am I right? Oh my god, why am I blanking on her name? Basically came from a world that is very similar to like the underworld with like Hades and Persephone, and she loved being there, and she is trying to find her way back, and she's not really able to acclimate to society after leaving her door and not being able to find it again. Getting sent to a school of children who also have their own doors and are also trying to find their way back. She gets there, there is a little bit of a mystery suspense plot. There are some kids at the school who are being murdered, and she's trying to figure out what is going on while she's trying to find her way back to her door. The magic system is so amazing. It follows such a wide group of characters. Each book is a different kid and their different worlds that they came from, and I loved it. I love Shannon McGuire overall. I really enjoyed Middle Game, which is kind of like a sci-fi book. Those are some books that are not romance that I highly recommend and enjoyed. A lot of them were audiobooks, which is kind of funny. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know some books that are not romance that you really enjoy and you think I should read. As always, thank you for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!